For our stamp assignment, you're asked to come up with some organic, some geometric, and at least one stamp that's your signature. So the reason why this is a good first assignment is you're going to be working small, and the stamps that you're using can be used all semester long. I say that for ceramics, probably the most work that you'll have to do is for a smooth texture. And in wheel throwing, it's a little bit easier to get a smooth texture, but for hand building, smooth is really tough to get. It takes the most amount of time, and when you're done, it shows the most errors, and it's probably the least interesting to look at. So these are some examples. We have a whole bucket of these stamps. People just leave them behind. So if you want to come over and look at the bucket, come and look at it. Try out some stamps. I have some examples here. Stamps are really a cool way to create a neat texture on your work, something that breaks up the surface a little bit. And stamps are a wonderful way of achieving surface interest. That's a lot of what you're dealing with when you're working with ceramics, is how do I treat the surface? How do I make it interesting for people to look at? These stamps will react with the glaze, they'll do some really fun stuff, and be way more interesting to look at than just a plain old smooth surface. Okay? So when you're making your stamps, I want you to draw them out first. So we're going to get some paper, and we're just going to draw a couple designs. I think it's nice to keep these stamps simple at first, starting with some basic shapes. One of your stamps could just be lines going across a triangle. That's a great first stamp. It's a really easy one to make. I would consider that kind of a geometric shape. So what I'm going to do first is roll out some clay. The rule that I try to follow is don't make these any bigger than your little finger. Okay, and width, don't make them giant. Stamps like this, that's kind of cheating. The end of it's pretty small, but this is, giant. It is like a big toe. So what I'm going to do is just roll out a little tiny piece of clay here and smooth the end. And I'm using the table to kind of hit it on the table. And sometimes you'll get kind of a concave end. I use the metal rib of death to kind of chop that. And really easily, remember this is our design that we're going for, we're just going to shape this into a triangle shape. And I'm going to keep on tapping that on the desk. Now, some people might just scratch this across the surface to draw the lines. Stamping into a stamp is a nice, clean way to work. So instead of like scratching the surface, what I'm going to do is just take the needle tool and rock it back and forth and press it into the clay instead of dragging it through. You drag it through, you get little boogers that attach themselves to the clay. That's pretty close. Okay. On the other side, we can do something a little more organic. Let's say one of our stamps, we want to do more of a leaf shape, something like this, maybe with some leafy type design in the middle. That's another pretty easy one. We start off with kind of a flat, roundish end, and I'm just going to pinch the end of that, pinch the other end. See, it's already starting to take shape. I keep tapping it on the desk. I want to keep my corners nice and sharp. This little leafy stem part at the end takes a little bit extra work. What I'm looking for is a nice flat end to this, because every time you stamp this, you're getting that same impression. So if it's a lousy looking stamp with a lot of imperfections, multiply that times however many times you stamp it, and that's what you end up with. Now I'm going to use the curved end of this wood modeling tool because I need kind of a curve. Press that into the stamp like that, and then create my vein for the leaf, like so. Okay, so there's two stamps done. Last thing I'm going to do is put my name on the side of it, because these stamps come out, they all look really, really similar. You're going to get a pile of them back. If you don't have your name solid on the side of it, it's going to be real hard to tell your stamps from anybody else's stamps. But that's about what we're looking for. Is this is 1 stamp, 2 stamps, so 8 more, really 4 more of these. Okay, double-sided, nice impressions, clean, crisp lines. Going to take a couple tries for some of these, but don't get super detailed in the sketches. Run the sketches past me first so that I can tell you, hey, that's too detailed, or that's probably too simple, but keep them simple. All right, you want a stamp that's going to be versatile that you can use all semester long.